Yeah.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone out there. Today we have a very special day. Not only that, we have a special lady with us, Simone Hasselbach from A Dream Come True, but also we have load shed here in South Africa. So that's why we had to move to another place to make us actually a little new studio. And this is life in Africa, I would say. Very welcome, Simone. We are very happy to
Thank you.
have you on the chat today.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here as well. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Simone, I mean, a lot of the South African people, they know about the situation that we are all in. That we are in stage 3 out of 5. For all of us, we know that big wedding celebrations are put on hold for an uncertain time. But we want to speak about passion and about like people's journey and how they like basically started their passion project, which is in most cases their businesses. So tell us a little bit about your career path. Like, how did it all start? How did you end up in weddings?
Well, I actually used to work in corporate as a business analyst for about 13 years. And initially, when I wanted to study, I actually wanted to study tourism, event and tourism management, but my dad
Okay.
it. He said, study something where you can get a job that can pay bills. So I actually studied financial information systems. And I started working in corporate in 2004. And I'd always been involved in all kinds of events, part-time, helping others, doing things via work, corporate, year functions and team buildings and all that kind of thing. Um, yeah, I just reached a very pivotal point in my corporate career in 2016. I was very frustrated with my work, and I said to my husband, if I want to stay sane, I need to get out of here. So it just so happened that the SA School of Weddings was launching their full-time course in Cape Town for the first time in 2017.
Okay.
The signs were pretty much there, and I resigned from my job and I started full time at the SA School of Weddings in February of 2017, which was very challenging because I was very much older than other girls in my class. Mom, Maddie, they were sort of fresh out of school and varsity, so it
Uh-huh.
was very challenging in that sense. Um, And then sort of mid 2017, I got the ball rolling with starting my own business. So, registered my business name, set up a website, that kind of thing. And then officially in January 2018, my business sort of went live. And the idea was to sort of mainstream in wedding planning and to do flowers on the side, but clearly God had other plans. So now flowers is sort of the majority of the work that we do, and wedding planning is sort of more on the side. But we do still get quite a few clients for that, wedding planning and coordination, but mostly flowers.
Okay. So
Sometimes the plan is to make another plan. So that's
Yeah,
sometimes how it works in life.
we do.
Yeah, wonderful. And when you started in 2017, like with the flowers, what was the most challenging for you in terms of flowers? Was it to get the right flowers? Was it to calculate the right flowers for the arrangements that you needed to do? Was it the
how to do
how
flowers?
to do flowers? Yeah, what was the most challenging actually?
Look, I think studying through the school, it gives you a great base in terms of, understanding those kind of things. So, when I started out, it wasn't like, it was like I knew absolutely nothing, because they teach you all the basics at the school. They teach you the kind of thing like, how to calculate pricing, and STEM, that kind of thing. So it was a really good base, and it was a really good course to do, to allow me to actually, start my own business and to be able to do flowers. So yeah.
Okay. Like quite interesting. Like also in terms of, I mean, we are already like, but it goes like one by one. We are already in the middle of the scenery. I wanted maybe to ask this much further in the discussion, but at the moment it just comes to my mind. Um, like we have a lot of discussions, like we here in the company with our clients when they order flowers, how to calculate for the flower budget, how to make actually money on the flowers, because there is obviously a huge gap sometimes between the expectation of the client and what they see on the Pinterest and what is actually really possible to do for their budget. Was it difficult for you to figure this out and to balance it out, also to make money by the end of the day, or how did you actually felt about that?
Look, when I started my business, I had a very clear picture in my mind of where I wanted to be. Starting off with a 2-year plan, and then obviously re-looking at that every year as you go. Um, and yeah, I'm gonna get wrapped over the knuckles, but I don't really have an ideal client. It was sort of, when I started my business, it was my ideal to be able to cater for everybody, and not to be able to, to turn people away, to be able to give them their dream weddings as well. So, having said that, the two full seasons that we have worked, both have been different in the sense that, our first season was 80% international clients versus local clients, and our last season was mostly local. And I think it's
Wow.
purely because of the work that we did, and we get a lot of referrals through word of mouth.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, it look, it varies, and I always say that, you need to know where you're going, and you need to make a list of the things that you want to achieve, and you need to stick to it, because the minute you go off that, and then yeah,
Yeah.
it,
And I
it's
mean,
really
for your business, it's fairly young, and I think it's rather difficult, specifically now in the third year that you are in, that COVID, I mean, just happened like this, because it takes away a lot of opportunities, obviously. I mean, for everyone, but it's extremely difficult for people who are just like out
Starting.
there and having started. And I mean, from a business point of view, I mean, 2 or 3 year in the business is not a lot of time. So it is quite a challenge that I can imagine. So maybe when we have already like jumped over the past
Yeah.
so quickly, so for you right now, like when you say you need a clear vision, what is your vision right now? Like how do you like keep your business idea afloat in a time which is obviously not only like uncertain for couples, but the same like for event planners and designers alike, because nobody knows exactly like when we have larger weddings again. I mean, now small weddings, small intimate weddings are possible for like the ceremony side of thing, but that is not what keeps your business afloat at large.
absolutely. Look, I think when I started my business, I had a very clear idea in my mind in terms of, I didn't want permanent staff. I didn't want, to rent a space and have to pay, um rent at the end of the day. I didn't want to have large overhead,
Mhm.
which is really, I said, come Corona,
Mm.
um, I mean, at the end of the day, I don't have to pay salaries and that kind
Yeah.
of thing. So I've really been lucky in that sense. And generally for my business, May to sort of August is our quiet time anyway.
Mm.
So, and it's an advantage in terms of the pandemic
Yeah.
that's going on. So
Mm.
I haven't really been impacted that much. So I really count myself lucky.
Okay.
But when I listen carefully, so I mean, so far for the situation right now, you have made not a lot of mistakes to survive also a time like that. But do you believe like, or do you think like, in terms of looking into your future, you have to maybe do at one point investments, maybe like to hire people or to have a workplace or whatever it is, or a cold room, or I don't know what, just like, do you see that you have to do this, or do you think like, uh, it's not really necessary, I rather want to carry on as I was successful until now?
Look, I think it differs for everybody. I'm actually in the process of designing a studio at home, so I do have a designated space where we actually style and do everything. And in terms of staff, I'd actually prefer to just keep it the way it is. I work with a lot, and it also gives them the opportunity to work with different people.
Uh-huh.
Because everybody has different ideas. So we constantly learning from each other,
Yeah.
which I think is amazing. So I don't think I'd actually change that.
I'm just asking, it's because everyone
Uh,
has a different perspective. And also, when you say you work with other florists, maybe like how is your experience with freelancers? Because there's also like some people maybe are scared because they think like people can take away business. Others are absolutely blown away because they see that to work together gives them much more opportunity, and they can achieve maybe like larger installations with more people than what they would have maybe been possible just to do on their own. What is like your, or do you also yourself, do you freelance?
I don't freelance myself, but what I have done is I've tried to surround myself with people that have the same passion and the same drive, and sort of the clear sort of end result, if that makes sense. And I've been really fortunate in terms of the people that I get to work with. Um, I I prefer to not freelance, because I'm still so new in the business, and as I said, we're constantly learning. So it's nice to have experienced freelancers on board that can teach you how to do things, and we all take from each other. So yeah, it's a give situation.
Okay, interesting how you see that, because I personally would say, like, even if you are new in the business, it might be interesting to do freelancing, because then you can actually, like, I'm calling it, yeah, observe,
Observe.
like from everyone where you go to get things into your own mind and work. So yeah, but I mean, that's interesting, just like to
Yeah,
listen to your perspective.
been, I've just been so lucky this past 2 years. Just offhand, I think we did about 60 events. Um, I've worked really hard to get where I am, and with all the work that we've done, and it's a lot of different work. It's not always the same thing all the time. So again, learning from that as well. So yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Of course, of course.
So what was like, I mean, tell us, maybe we want to make people excited also. Like, what was the most amazing weddings? Like, out of the 60, where was it? And what was the theme? And like, what, like, maybe, like, do you have a preference where you say, wow, this was really something, everything fit together? I mean, we all know that as planners and also designers, every wedding is special. But in some cases, a location really makes a true difference. Not for the, like, not in terms of like for whom we're doing it, but just it's just so seamless. So was there really something that stand out for you where you say, wow, that was really one of the, like, the most beautiful memories out of the last like 60 that there were?
I'd have to say it was actually our last wedding just before lockdown happened. And it
Okay.
was a wedding that we did at Glenbrae, outside of Grabouw. And it was such a treat for us because time we have to work with sort of the same color schemes, and I love working with color,
Yeah.
bright colors. And
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes, we just spoke
we
about
love it
this
too.
before.
Yeah,
It's like, please
um,
bright, please
yeah,
bright,
yeah.
and
Color,
blooms.
color our life.
Be more
so we had
brave when it comes to color.
so we had a bride. She's from Cape Town. They're based out in Vietnam, teaching English, and she sent us pictures of a wedding that she was pretty keen on. And we said, yeah, we're definitely up for the challenge. And we got to work with an array of colors, which was so amazing. And it was a mixture of dried and fresh. And we really just went out went out with a bang with that one. So
Beautiful.
it was sort of bittersweet because it was our last one just before lockdown. It was our best one. So yeah.
Yeah.
But at least it was one. I mean, like you can say we did it.
We did it,
Have,
absolutely.
that's
We
great. And I think color, sorry, just like to interrupt because I really want to stress this. Like, color is not necessarily something that is like there's like too much, you know. It's just the right
Yeah.
combination of different colors, I think, can really set a complete different ambience. Obviously there will be always the people who are loving muted colors or all white weddings, and it will never go out of style. But I'm personally also like in love with just a pop of more color, and brides and grooms who are just a little bit more brave
Right.
to just go with a little bit more color. Maybe you can just repost a picture maybe after this from your last wedding that you have done, so that people can actually have a look at it.
But interesting enough, also our last wedding was very colorful. We just spoke about that on a TED before. That was mustard and teal, a very very unique combination. And when I saw the brief actually that what the bride wanted to get, I said we have to get this wedding because this was so unique. It's actually amazing.
Yeah, then another one that also stands out for me is one that we did in December at Marlinique.
Mhm.
Um, and it was our first foam-free wedding, which was really exciting. Because obviously, with floristry moving in that sort of sustainable direction, it's really fun to not have to work with oasis. So we worked with all preserved flowers, which was such a task again.
Can I ask you, was the brief from the client that they said they wanted to go foam free, or was it something when you saw maybe the inspiration that you saw this can be done foam free?
Look, the what she wanted, so it was very much preserved hydrangeas, and she wanted very specific colors that can only get preserved. And then like pampas grass and the Italian ruscus and that kind of thing. So it was only obvious to go foam free with that.
Okay.
Aha,
Okay,
okay.
because I think now, and this is also something that is a trend for like people who do flowers. I think people like clients get much more environmental conscious, and for them, like sustainability and just like leaving a rather clear footprint in terms of like wastage and what they leave behind on weddings and events is going to be much more of focus. And I'm pretty sure that, and that's why I was just interested whether it came from the client side, that this will be requirements of the future, for florists and for designers who actually like really need to consider this. That people say, you know what, like make my wedding like completely foam free. I don't want to see any wastage. Or what are you doing after the wedding with my flowers? Like, do you have a solution for that? I don't want it to just I don't want them to just see thrown in the bin. I think that will
Yeah.
make a difference to a lot of clients to actually also choose for which floral designer or florist they are going. Not only the price, um, that is something that is obviously always that there will be people who are budget conscious, but there will be people also that are just focusing on complete different things that may come for a lot of people here in this country still unexpected.
Yeah, look, we've had a mix of people, you know, people not wanting anything after weddings, people that want us to donate to old age homes afterwards, or even they want to keep so that they can reuse. Uh,
Yes.
we we did get a request for an eco-friendly wedding that would have happened now in August, but obviously with
Yeah.
COVID, we couldn't go ahead with that. But the bride was very specific with, you know, no foam, very specific types of flowers and greenery that she wanted to use, and it had to be very minimalistic. So, yeah, it's
Okay.
a shame that we missed out on that one,
Will
but
that
I'm sure
happen next year?
Was it postponed?
they are actually from the UK.
Hmm.
Um, they didn't postpone. I think they've actually cancelled. Um, but yeah, I think people are becoming more and more aware of the environment and
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
so you know, one needs to be smart also about these things and also build it into your business plan on how you're actually going to take that forward.
Yes.
Mm.
Yes.
To, I mean, it's interesting. We spoke the other day to Sue, Flower Sue, about like form-free
Passion flowers.
passion flower Sue. Yeah, sorry, about form-free installations, and there is a lot what you can do quite easily, but there is also a lot which you need to know how to do. Actually, it
Yeah.
looks like quite easy, but you have to know how to structure it. Did you took courses or how did you actually got like into having knowledge about that?
Look, I've done a combination of self-learning, you know, watching YouTube and that kind of thing,
Yes.
and then obviously
And there's
studying through
nothing
the
wrong with
school.
it, people.
No, I'm just asking because
like not,
for
not
me this
everything
is
needs to be
also
paid. Like
yeah.
it's like there's a lot out there that is for free and that is
Yeah.
very informative.
Exactly.
So
Particularly during this time right now, a
specifically
lot of
now, yes, a
designer
lot of things
Yeah.
are out there that you just have to go and get.
yeah.
Yeah, so and I mean, whenever I see courses from local florists that I really like, yeah, I sign up for them as well. I mean, I did a course with Wildflower last year. We did Bloom Boy last year as well.
Oh,
Um,
his
yeah,
classes are amazing.
yeah. So he actually, it was at his studio, out in Stellenbosch, and what he did was he actually took us across the road. Um, they actually have a composting initiative going on. So if
Mm-hmm.
you have flowers or flower waste after weddings, and you know, you can't, or you prefer not to take it to the dump, um, then you can actually come and bring it there for free.
Wow.
That's great.
Yeah, so that was pretty cool. And I mean, we work quite often out in the mountains, so I mean it's nearby, and yeah,
Mm.
so and it's good for the environment, and so
Yes.
yeah,
Absolutely.
And just feels good, you know. I mean, it's just like as a human being,
exactly.
also it feels good to do something good.
Yes, yes, yes. Interesting. So you would not like to say you would worry at any time to have a form-free, complete form-free wedding. I mean, like when people are out there to hear, okay, they would be interested. Simone can actually do a complete form-free wedding, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. Look,
Yoo-hoo!
Yes.
as long as you know what you can use, what's hardy, what will last, you know, because obviously in South Africa, especially Cape Town, our summers get quite hot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's nice to you know, what's gonna last. You know, what doesn't need a water source, and can, you know, can at least last through the duration of the wedding itself. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Exactly. Interesting. I mean, I asked this question a couple of times before to people we were talking, um, but it's very interesting how different answers I received. When you have or would have a dream that for a wedding, what would that be? Would that be a special place? Would that be a special type of a wedding, like an Indian wedding, or I don't know? We had wedding wishes up to the space, and I don't know what, like very very interesting things. I mean, for me, it was a dream one day to go to have a wedding in a ice chapel. Yeah, yeah, we did this a couple of years ago. So I must find me a new dream, like, so what is your dream?
I don't really have a dream. I mean, if if I have to think about it, I'd probably say I'd want to get married again and just do my own flowers. That's my dream.
What can I ask you? Actually, what flowers? Like, how did your wedding look like? Like your own wedding? Like, what type of flowers were they? And like, what was your like wedding like flora dream for your own wedding?
Very, it was very simple. We only had just over 40 days, so it was very
Mm-hmm.
small, very intimate. And just like if I look back at pictures now of my wedding, I actually and say to myself, what were you thinking? Because just my taste back then
Oh.
and now, obviously, having done flowers, it's completely different now. So yeah.
But
Yes.
there's anniversaries, you can repeat this, don't worry. Like, there's a silver anniversary, golden
Waiting for the
anniversary,
next one.
pearl, and
Ah.
okay.
Okay. Yeah. But what is your like when you maybe look as a designer? Do you have a favorite flower? Like, do you like particularly work with like a certain flower? Like yeah, you prefer, or where you say this is really I love to work with. Mm.
I love to work with. Wow. I think we're really lucky in the sense that we get to work with all kinds of flowers. Um, and while a lot of our clients are local, their budgets are small versus, doing luxury weddings for international couples,
Yeah.
simply because, exchange rates and all of that kind of thing come into
Yes.
play.
Yeah.
But I'd have to say David Austin Roses.
Okay.
I'm, I'm a
Amazing.
simple person.
Well, a David Austin rose is not a simple rose, so it's a very,
This
very
is
special.
simply classy, I
Yeah,
would
it's a
say.
very classy
Simply
rose. I
classy.
mean, it is we call her like the queen under the roses. So
Yeah,
it's a really beautiful flower. And it has very lavish look and very
yeah.
beautiful cup when it
And the
opens.
scent,
The
the
scent,
most of
yeah,
the
it's
David Austin roses have a really beautiful scent. I think that's what makes them special.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
okay, that's great. And like, do you like when you look back at your weddings? Obviously, I assume, but maybe you can tell me whether I'm right or wrong. People who come who book you, they following maybe a certain style that you have shown in the beginning, like on style shoots or like on your first wedding, and then obviously people come after that. Have you done a wedding which was like really outside of what you have like maybe shown before? Like when you say, for example, David Austin roses. So then, and I've seen what you are doing like before. It's more the romantic type of wedding, right?
Yeah.
Where there was there also a wedding where you said this was a rather minimalist wedding, or even like a modern touch, or like can you really say people go for what they see? Then like when you show like on your Instagram or on your website a certain type of wedding, this is the type of wedding that you're getting.
Look, this past couple of months, the weddings that we've done, styles have been very, very similar. And Alfie, like you say, what you see is sort of like very romantic, very sort
Mm-hmm.
of rustic kind of feel. And I don't know, it's sometimes we get, I cannot, like, sometimes we'll get the same picture of a bouquet from like 10 brides.
Really?
Like, this is the bouquet. And it's like, how's that possible? Like, how do you all
Yes.
want the
Yes.
same
Where did you
bouquet?
get that from? Where is it
Exactly.
trending?
Look, and I mean, what's good is they have Pinterest boards, And I really salute local couples because they've become more and more realistic about what they can afford, which makes our job so much easier. You know, I don't have to go back to people and say, you know, you can't really afford this. I hate having that conversation because I know I'm just breaking people's hearts.
Yeah.
Yeah. But can I just interrupt you, because this is a very
Yeah.
important point. I think it is all of our duties, like not only you as florists, also us as wholesalers and as people who are bringing flowers into the country, to also talk about prices.
Yeah.
That people, because I mean, you know, like the first thing that when we speak to the florist, they say when they, for example, want to justify that they're not asking their couples for budgets. They're like, yeah, but they don't know what flowers cost. Yes, but it is also like our duty, like as collective, you know, to talk about prices, to not be shy about it. Tell them that a David Austin rose is a special rose. It's not a rose that is grown usually in your garden. It is something that it's like really particularly like grown for like special events. And I mean, it is a Ferrari on under the roses, you know. So like it has
Absolutely.
a Ferrari price, and it's not a bicycle. So but I think like generally in not only in South Africa, I think also it goes a little bit more like international. There's not enough talk about what things cost, like not only in terms of flowers, but in terms of like generally budgets, but like specifically when you see pictures in magazines or things, you know, you see a lot of what the dress cost, what the shoes cost, what maybe like, you know, like single items cost, but there's no like, and I don't want to say a breakdown, but there's a breakdown. Doesn't say that costs like 6,000 rand, you know, like no, like they should be that people also and couples are aware of things and they don't get the shock of their life when you rightfully say, you know what, a David Austin rose is not compared to a single standard like rose, you know, it is much more expensive because you get this beautiful different look like on your wedding day. And I think a lot of people, obviously they're browsing Pinterest and they're browsing a lot of social media, and there are beautiful style shoots out there, and like even just like small scenes, you know, out of a bigger picture. But if you would have to put something that you do on a style shoot in a hall with like 100 guests plus, then obviously the price range also is completely different. And I think that is something that we as an industry actually really need to do, is to teach also much more, that people are not too surprised and they
to
come
be open.
yes, they come with
open.
like different expectations, because a lot of times I feel also florists, they feel sort of trapped almost, you know, because their clients come with like huge expectations. And once maybe you work out a price and you haven't asked for a budget, the client falls like over, like to say like, what, this cannot be, that cannot be the, like that cannot be the price. And you're like, yeah, and you're not making like heaps amount of money, it's just normal. And then there is a whole like vicious circle actually, where you're trying to justify why things are like that, and the client is like, no, this cannot be. But the price of a rose, for example a David Austin rose, is around the 40 rand mark per stem. So that is just something that people need to know.
Yeah, or when it comes to peonies, for example, we were talking the other day to a couple, and the mother was quite like interested to hear like how many peonies can come into a budget of 6,000. I said, not too many, not too many. And she was like, what? Like, like, I mean, like, okay, because one peony, like in a very good time, you can get for about 50 rand maybe. In a very bad situation, you have to pay about 200 rand. That's what it is, per stem. Yeah, per stem. So I think we should really talk about those things, and then also maybe when this is out, people are not so much surprised, and feel you maybe want to cheat on them or something like this.
No, for sure. Look, I'm not afraid to have the conversation. I just don't like doing it.
Yeah.
But like I said, I really take my hat off to local people because, you know, the saying of champagne dreams on a beer budget. It really hasn't been the case for us. This past season, people are really becoming more and more realistic about what they can actually afford and what they can get. Like sometimes I'm so blown away by brides who say to me, okay, I want penny gum runners. And you know, it doesn't have to be that thick and it doesn't have to be that full because I know it's probably going to cost more. And then I'm like, okay, you know, half the job's already done. I think I only had to sort of reel in one client before where she wanted garden roses and you know she received quotes from other florists and she couldn't understand why it was so high. And then I actually said to her, this is a vase arrangement that you want. This is how many roses goes in there, and this is how much the roses actually cost. And
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it's not just you buying the product. It's
No.
actually the
No.
labor that's involved. It's the vessel that
Yes.
goes in, etc., etc. So then she was like, after I'd explained to her, she was like, oh, okay, now I understand.
Yeah, I
So
think
yeah, I
it's
mean,
exactly what you say.
Mm.
We have to tell people that they understand the background and the reason why things are more pricey than others.
yeah, I found it also very interesting to be reminded again of the fact that, clients think very differently to the way that we think. So we sort of have to dumb it down and explain it in layman's terms so that they can actually understand, what actually goes into it. I did a flower crown class with the winner from botanical flowers on Wednesday, and we were actually saying that, people ask for flower crowns, um, and for argument's sake, let's say it's a Gypsophila flower crown, and we say to them, okay, it's 300 or 350 rand, and then they freak out because it's like, why is it so expensive? And then we have to explain to them that this it there might not be that many flowers in flower crown, but it is
But
so labor intensive.
detail.
And the
Yes.
time.
Yes, the time for that, the
Yeah.
detail. It's like,
Yeah, you have to bunch these little like gypsies, and then to get this all together, there goes a lot of time in. I mean,
Yeah.
people, and this is exactly what we mean. And this is good that you do this, like that people also when they do it themselves. And I mean, like obviously when you are more trained, you can do it faster. But
Mm.
it is interesting, like for them to experience how long it takes for them to do a flower crown.
Yeah, so it was nice because we had a good mix of experienced people and then beginners in the class, so they could actually see, look, this is how much actually goes into this thing. It takes time.
yes.
Yeah. When we are talking about teaching and classes, do you believe? I mean, I have seen like since 5 years where we are in the market. 5 years ago, down the line, there was almost no classes, nobody that really was teaching like things. So during the last 5 years, it has improved a lot,
Mm.
um, and I really like that. Do you think there's still a need for like special like techniques or special things that we are lacking here in South Africa, that we would need maybe designers from somewhere else,
Or something where
or
you say,
something?
maybe,
Yeah.
you know what? I haven't seen this. Like, this would be really
Mm.
interesting for
Mm.
me. And I mean, or maybe something like, I can only find that online. I cannot find this like locally.
Look, like you say, the last 5 years, it has grown, but I don't think it's grown enough. But
Mm.
here's the part where YouTube is bad, because it's free, and there's a lot of places, like especially like London Flower School.
Yes.
They show you so many techniques, and it's for free. So why do people actually have to pay for it? So it's such a catch-22 because like with like local florists who do courses and stuff, like I always jump at the opportunity because who better to learn from than local people who understand
Yes.
our climate and who know what flowers are available and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Versus overseas and the things that they have. But in terms of techniques, there's so many videos and stuff online that you can watch. I wouldn't say in terms of basics that we would need something like that. If it's for something very specific, like I know, I think it's Anlival, and Kado, they doing a course next month, which sounds pretty interesting. And
Mhm.
it's not really about fundamentals, it's about really cool stuff. And it also involves a section chatting about business and how to price and that kind of thing. So,
Okay.
a combined thing like that is really cool, and there should be
Mhm.
more of that.
Okay.
Maybe I'm not sure if you have had time maybe to see, but we have had a couple of designers that we were talking to, like Gregor Lersch or Hari or Chrissy Cheng. They did very kindly also some demonstration, and I think the type of techniques and the type of floral design they do is very much different. I feel that from the type of floral design we are doing here in Africa. Have
Mm-hmm.
you had maybe the chance to see something like that? And would you maybe agree, or is it just my personal opinion?
No, I definitely think in terms of styling in South Africa and just the type of weddings that we have here is on a much smaller scale versus overseas. So one also needs to think about, do I actually need to learn that kind of thing? Um, yeah, it's a tough one. I look at designers overseas like Kelly from Team Flower,
Mhm.
and I look at big designs, and I love looking at, they've got a lot of free videos and stuff as well. But again, their styling um, is very much of a higher scale. And I
Okay.
think that's sort of like standard overseas versus here. And like I said, um, like our local clients, they can't afford things like that. So one
Yeah, but this is
one
exactly what I meant, because the technique that we have seen with the designer that they were online, it was quite minimalistic in a way of
yeah
that they used very little source of flowers. I think a lot of people here in Africa, not only in South Africa but also in other countries, they have the feeling, or particularly also clients, it's only a good event when you have millions of flowers. But
yeah
coming from Europe, where flowers are much more expensive than even here,
Labor is much more
labor is much
expensive.
more
That's why you will
expensive.
never see like in
Huge
on
installations.
average like you don't see like events where as many flowers are
Yeah.
used as
Uh-uh.
here,
So
like
yeah,
on
so
normal
like,
scale.
yeah, our credo is always to say less is more. You can actually
let's
create
more.
out of like 20, 30 flowers with different like maybe roots or branches or whatsoever. You can create something amazing, and it doesn't cost you a fortune. I think this is sometimes a little bit interesting for me to see that at one point clients have maybe smaller budgets, but they still expect like high number of flowers, and
Mm-hmm.
you can't really like convince them for a different style which would absolutely suit their budget. I think this type of floral design should maybe be a bit more promoted in Africa, that we can maybe also see this in the future.
Look, when we do get clients who have smaller budgets but they want more flowers, then we start looking at the sort of lower end in terms of flower costs. So we'll fill with carnations and snapdragons, the things that cost a little bit cheaper, but that can still look really nice. So you don't have to compromise on look. But I mean,
I
you're not going to get
actually,
good.
yeah, I actually would, at that point, I would disagree with you, honestly.
Okay.
I can say I would not go maybe for a carnation on a wedding, but I would rather maybe use just maybe one orchid, and to put this one orchid in an extraordinary spot. I think that's maybe the way how I see things, because we are coming back to this. It's not about the number of flowers, it's about the way how you present the flowers. But maybe this is something that we can take up, and it's interesting to listen what you say, and this is very you are not alone with this idea, and maybe I need to take this up at one day in a type of a class, maybe to introduce what I mean in terms of this. But yeah, I think we had quite a wide span now from your history, a couple of years back, like where you came until today and until the future. It was very interesting to see like how you see things, and what is your experience in terms of the flower industry here in South Africa. I would say just like I wish you the most of success for 2021.
Where can people
Yeah.
get in touch with you? Like if there's still like couples out there that are looking for maybe some floral inspiration,
Romantic
yes,
flowers.
and someone who's happily using garden roses, where can they find you?
Look, we on Instagram and Facebook as well under A Dream Come True Events SA. And we've got a website as well. So www.adreamcometrue.co.za. And you're welcome to pop us an email or give us a call anytime. We've also just launched our online shop. So that's for flowers for elopements as well as for any occasion flowers as well as funeral flowers. So if you do need anything, you're more than welcome to pop into our shop and have a look online. Otherwise, you can always email any custom orders to us via our contact form on our website or directly.
Wonderful.
I was waiting the entire time that you mentioned your new shop. I thought, like, when she will actually say about something about that, because there is also something special, and I wanted to mention that because you have taken the effort to create your own shop yourself, correct?
Yeah, my
That
whole
was,
website.
yeah.
I do everything myself, my social media, all my admin. I do my website as well. Again, YouTube is amazing.
We are
So,
always saying we do our fifth job, that the social media is our fifth job.
Yes.
yeah.
So this we are talking a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's very time consuming, and that's why I like the time off from May to August because it means I get to sit and actually concentrate on updating my website, adding the things that I really want to have on there. And yeah, so while it's time consuming, it's really rewarding at the end of the day as well.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Simone. It was a real pleasure having you here and
Thank you.
seeing things from a totally different perspective.
Sure.
As I said, we wish you the most of success. Yeah. Lots of lovely, beautiful, amazing brides that come in and want to get married, like with your flowers next year. What else we can
Fantastic. So
Stay
much for
safe.
having
Stay
me.
safe.
That is the most
Cool.
important thing right now. Keep well and
You
all
too.
the best. Take care.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you very much.